excited about this session. We have Donovan Coetzee. Donovan and Patricia, the national leaders of the Assemblies of God South Africa, and they've pastored churches for years. We've got so much to learn from them. And then we've got Graham Evans and Jenny. Graham and Jenny are the senior pastors of View Church, and like I said earlier, both Paul and I got saved in their church, and we just know that there's a lot that we don't know that we know we don't know. We have so much to learn from your generation. Would you agree with me? So much, and we're so appreciative of your generation for supporting us, for cheering us on. We appreciate it more than you know. I just have to tell you quickly, I became a Christian at the age of 23, and I remember within the first 3 weeks of being in church, in View Church, in Tableview, Jenny, Graham's wife, tipped me on my shoulder, and I've never seen her in my life. And she said, "Hi, there's a call on your life." And I thought to myself, what on earth is a call? That lady's a bit weird. Jenny's so prophetic. And I was working in a corporate environment. I studied marketing, but I was never happy in any job. I got paid well, I had good jobs, I had good employers, but I kept changing jobs. But I was a new Christian, and that didn't give me a good reputation. And then one day, Graham got my number somewhere. I was about 25 years old. He phoned me, and I just saw it's Graham phoning me, and I thought, why is the senior pastor phoning me? I think I was working at Green Cross at the time. And I answered the phone, and I said, "Hello, Graham?" And Graham said to me, "Marinette, stop changing jobs." I got such a fright. I remember it like clear daylight. Graham said to me, "We know there's a call on your life, and we want to employ you, but people say you have commitment issues." I am so glad that he was willing to phone me and speak straight to me, because I was about to change jobs again. And I remember him saying to me, "I can't employ you if all my leaders say you can't commit." And he said to me, "You're like an unbeliever. You're seeking, searching. Unbelievers try alcohol and they try this and that, but until you're full-time, you're never going to feel fulfilled in any position. Just keep your job so I can employ you eventually." And by God's grace, I kept my job. And Graham and Jenny believed in me. Paul was already full-time then. Paul and I was not even close to being a couple back then. Jenny's laughing. But so grateful for you. We appreciate you so much. And Graham, I want to ask you a question. You and Jenny have raised up so many leaders. Who needs more leaders? I think if you ask any church pastor, do you have any needs? What can we pray for? We need leaders, right? What advice can you give us? What's your secret to raising up leaders? So many people under your leadership, like Paul and I, are leading churches, they're missionaries. We need your secrets.
I think a key thing is to recognize the importance of number ones. Remember, Jesus had 12, 8 were support leaders, 3 were number ones, Peter, James, and Donovan, 1 was the devil. Sometimes, and the devil wanted to be a number one. No, seriously, that's what Jesus called him, a devil. Sometimes we get tripped up by the devil. So if you've got 12 leaders, 1 is going to be a devil, but just deal with it. How many of you guys have been hurt by a devil? Okay. Guys, I want to tell you that it's so easy in the short term to raise up a support team. And a support team, seriously, I mean, you guys are doing what we've never had with Growth Track. And you can focus on your Sunday night, or Sunday, sorry, which correctly is the doorway to your church. But what you're going to do is grow better and better number 2s and number 3s. And for any busy pastor, you thank Jesus for your number 2s and number 3s. But raising up a number 1 is way tougher. And I think to grow a church, you need to have a point where your number 2s are all number 1s in waiting, because it lifts the lid. But something about every number 1 is, so you just excuse me, and I don't even remember saying that to her, but I probably did. Number 1s are strong-willed and stubborn. Would you agree with me? And it's something in your wiring. If you're not strong-willed and stubborn, you're probably not a number 1. Sorry, I'm just putting it out there. No, you might be the most amazing number 2. But I think you've got it. Like, for instance, interesting, I don't remember that, but there are points in time, I think crossroads in developing a number 1. Because what God showed me, because we all say, where are the leaders? God showed me, it was one of our elders that gave a prophecy. He said, in the church, there's like clay and pots. And I had this vision of half-developed pots. You have to call the number 1 out of the number 1. So first you need God to show you who the potential number 1s are. You can't bleat, because God sends them to you. If you don't call out the godly number 1, they'll become a number 1 gang leader or a business leader, whatever it is. But a number 1 is going to eventually get bored with just working in the car park. I believe everyone needs to start there, but you have to recognize the number 1 and draw the number 1 out. But there are going to be moments, and I think it is hard, where you have to make the challenge. And the key to their growth is whether they're prepared to take the challenge or get offended. And I know that I think I've got the most incredible, amazing pastors that have raised up out of our church. And I need to say this, it's a team effort through and through. Without Jenny, it would never have been done in a million years. Jenny prophesied, I think, over every one of them. And also, our team system is a big brother system. Paul was a big brother to Jason and Andre. They would not be here if it wasn't for him. Dino would not be here if Andre wasn't his big brother. And so we have, you got to have the fathers and the mothers and the big brothers. If you can get that team going, you're going to start raising up number 1s. But there are those moments, and they're scary moments. I think the average senior pastor doesn't want to end up in clashes with the developing number 1. Yes, probably I could have done it better. How many of you think that? No. Looking back. But it's incredible when they come through that, how there's an amazing development. Because a number 1 in the church is not a number 1 in business. Because you've got to do all this with humility. It's incredible to mix authority with humility. Only God can do it. Sorry,
I like that. Mix authority with humility. That's so good, Graham. Thank you. And Donovan, you've been so incredibly supportive of ARC. You've been at all 3 conferences, and you're only cheering us on, and you're completely part of it. What makes you so supportive of ARC?
It was not difficult. First of all, the reason why I'm supportive of ARC is, those of you who remember the journey, I went with about 7 younger pastors in our team. We went to an ARC conference, and we saw something that was attractive. We saw something that we connected with. We saw something where we liked what they were, their values, their DNA, their culture. And we met with them. Two of them in the room, Michael and Will. And we said it would be great if we could bring ARC to South Africa. And they said that would be a great idea. And so that was the beginning of ARC in South Africa. Came out of that trip, out of that trip to Birmingham, something we saw there, it's kind of, it's indescribable in a sense. It's something that you feel, that you experience, that you catch. And as a result of that, ARC was kind of started. And then I like their values. I like all their values. I like what they believe in. I like what they stand for. And I like the fact that they believe in church planting.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing to me. You know, Pastor Chris here often speaks about the harvest is ready. And if we don't hurry up, it'll go rotten.
Yeah.
So we were always taught to pray for the harvest. Until all of a sudden we realized that Jesus didn't say pray for the harvest. There is a harvest. The harvest is there. The harvest is waiting. We pray for the workers. And so today's a Wednesday. So in all our churches, every one of these guys who are here would have got a message from me at 6 o'clock this morning to say, hi guys, it's Wednesday again. And now they know what I'm talking about. They all got the message. It's Wednesday again. It's another opportunity because Wednesdays we pray for workers. And so we believe in ARC because it's a church planting movement. And also, not to be silly, I believe in Paul and I believe in you. I remember when Paul went to Zambia, sitting in my office, saying that, should he go or shouldn't he go? And I said, well, what did God say to you? So I believe in what you've done. I believe in what you stand for. And I believe in what you believe in. So it's not difficult to support ARC. And you're all here today as a result of this thing. And this is only the beginning. In the words of Frank Sinatra, the best is yet to come. Because he was the first he sang a song, did you know he sang a song, The Best Is Yet to Come?
Yeah.
So it comes from Frank Sinatra and it's on his tombstone. So in the words of Frank Sinatra, not in the words of Brian Houston, this is only the beginning, the best is yet to come. We want to be part of this journey,
Thanks
part
so
of what it's doing. Amen.
So good. Well,
Sorry, I'm not wearing my specs because I got problems with my eyes. I used to tell people my name's Coetzee, but I can't anymore, so pray for me.
well, we appreciate your support more than you know. Life is interesting, you know, like Paul and I'm both mid-40s, and we know now more than ever how much we need fathers and mothers in the church to cheer us on. We know more than ever that we actually need your support, and we appreciate you, and thank you so much. And Donovan, you the national leader of the Assemblies of God in South Africa, and you have pastored churches for years. What are some of the biggest challenges you have faced over the years?
You know, I always find these questions so difficult when people say to me, what are your biggest challenges, or what are your, people say to me, what is it like having to get on the plane all the time? You know, I don't know why, honestly, don't misunderstand, I don't think about those things. I just get up, and every day I get up before I put on my makeup. I say a little prayer for you. No, I just do. I just do what I got to do. No, really, I just do what I got to do. But, of course, there have been challenges. There were phases, more than challenges, phases. And I would say this, the biggest challenge and the biggest phase in our lives, in ministry, not in leading the group or anything, was at a certain church where, and it's important to get this, where we were asked to go to a church to replace someone else. And the church profile didn't match our profile. And that could have killed us. It could have made us think we're not called to ministry. It was just the wrong fit. It's so important to make sure that the church profile that you're sending people to, if you're not planting, fits the profile of the people you are sending there. And that almost killed us.
Sure.
In fact, I think for Patricia, she kind of blocked that whole period out of her mind completely. It's like she would say it's the 3.5 most unhappy years of her life. And that was a big, big challenge to us. The other challenge in leadership is, for me, honestly, it's this. Hang on, I'm going to be very strong now. You were with me on one of those trips. When you have to tell someone who really believes that God has called them that you don't think they've got it. It's terrible. It's terrible to say to someone, you haven't got it. And I've had to find words, I've had to find phrases to phrase it. I would say to them, do you think you have the gift to make this happen? Because it's so hard to tell someone, I don't think you have the gift to make it happen. And the weirdest thing is that there are people who haven't got, who you might think, who I don't think have the call of God upon their life to lead a church. I think that's the key thing. I'm not saying they don't have the call of God upon their life. The call of God upon their life to lead a church. Very often, there are those people who feel they have that, but don't. And yet, there are other people that you feel have the call of God upon their life, but they will not give up their secular call or business, or it's the worst possible thing when you think you should be in and you should be out. Horrible. So you ask me what the big challenges are, those two, because you're dealing with people. Because every time we've told someone, you're not in, they've got children. And I'm going to put it bluntly, those children hate me. I'm not imagining it. They've told me. They told me how they hate me. They told me how I've ruined their parents' lives and how I've ruined. We're not here to ruin anyone's life. But in leadership, sometimes you have to make those horrible calls because you're dealing with people. And people are connected to people, to families, to children, to wives. And I once had a wife who, after somebody preached the message on if you can't forgive someone, you're locking yourself in a jail and you're throwing the key away. She waited to see the minister and said, I hate Donovan Coetzee so badly because he's the cause of my husband not being in ministry today, and now we're divorced. So, you know, you want me to be honest? I'll be honest. So there it is. Amen.
Thank you so much, Donovan. That's hectic. And, yeah. So helpful and so grateful that you love God and you love people, but that's seriously challenging. Graham. So my first job at church was Graham's PA. And I think I was his first PA. And most Graham's PAs end up leading churches. And I've known Graham for years. Graham and Jenny, over 20 years. I have never heard any coarse joke out of Graham's mouth. I have never heard Graham make any comment that's not godly. Graham has only ever spoken highly of Jenny in public. They model incredible marriage, and that to us is invaluable to see. I have seen Graham correct people publicly when the conversation gets a little bit, that's not good. And I'm like, wow, well done, Graham, that took guts. And you've modeled to us marriage for years, and it's impacted us. And you've modeled raising your children and family life, and you've modeled ministry and physical health. When I contacted you a few days ago to ask if you can be in the panel, you said, I can talk later, I'm going to cycle now. So I'm like, all right, that's why you're in the panel, I'll contact you later. But how do you juggle it all? What advice can you give to us? You're healthy, you're strong, your marriage is strong, your kids are healthy. Give us advice, Graham.
I think Phil and Lucinda put it, the grace of God. I think that's one of the best things my take-homes from the conference is definitely the grace of God. Yeah. I think Wayne Cordera, and I wish I was as good as you said I am at all these things. You know, Wayne Cordera had this beautiful thing of a fulcrum and moving the fulcrum to meet the need. And I think if we can get better and better at that, if the need is in the church, then you've got to move the fulcrum that way. If it's family, move the fulcrum that way. I wish I was perfect at all these things, but I knew that my dad was a pastor who was busy 7 days a week. So whenever my kids played sport, even during the week, I was there. I coached even cricket and soccer in the schools. So you've just got to know where to move the fulcrum. Then I would work at night. So when I was younger, I obviously worked every night. So just trying to find that balance. I think fitness, guys, if you're not strong, you can't do the job. I know that Paul got to a point where he said he had the thorn in the flesh. I don't know what that was. But I realized that I can only work to the extent that I'm strong. If I'm tired and I'm exhausted, I can't think clearly, I can't pray. I don't know if you guys pray well when you're exhausted. I don't hear God over clearly in exhaustion. So as I've got older, I've increased my exercise. My goal would be 6 days a week.
Yeah.
But I try to do 5 days a week. If I go to gym, I can out-gym most teenagers. But, but it's not, but I know my wife says that it's the thing, that it's about my ego. But I've got to hear that from her but seriously, guys, I would have to quit if I'm not strong enough. And so what I believe is that when you get tired, you don't lie down and rest, you go and exercise, because it means you're not strong enough. I know that sounds weird to any of you. So I'd rather go to the gym than lie down and rest. So
good.
anyway.
No, that's seriously good, Graham. Well done. You told me the other day you haven't felt this healthy in a long time. You just feel so good. So well done.
But my wife keeps me in check. I promise you, I don't know where I'd be. Jenny doesn't cut anything. She will tell me the truth. And you've got to be married. Your partner has to be honest with you. Jenny's always been honest with me. And hey, love, you've kept me. She keeps you on track. Please. No, I mean, you've got to keep each other on track.
So. Thanks, Graham. So good.
Are.
Donovan, so if you were fast asleep and we woke you up at 1 o'clock in the morning and we said to you, if you can only tell us one thing that you think pastors and leaders need to know, what would be the thing that you would tell us?
Well, if it's on a Monday, how can you ask someone for one thing? You know what I mean? So I'll be quick. If it's on a Monday, have a consistent, disciplined, devotional life. Number 2, communicate. All the guys that I know how freaky I am about communicate. And one of you mentioned it. When you don't answer, and listen, you want to get me, really, I could take an hour now. Okay, I can get up off this chair and freak out. Answer WhatsApps, answer me. Don't ignore me. Don't ignore me. Don't do that to me. It's rude. Don't preach about honor and respect and you ignore me. Because if you ignore me, you're ignoring the least of me. I'm supposed to be your boss and you ignore me. Okay, right. Have I made my point? Here we go. He's waving his hand. Amen. So that's something. And under the point of, that's Tuesday. Communicate, okay? And be careful of social media. Be careful of social media under communication. It's killing you. It's damaging you. All the preachers preach about Instagram and Facebook, and we need to be, I'm not saying get off it, be very careful. It's 1 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday. On a Wednesday, 2 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday, seriously manage your life in all its areas. You need self-management. Don't manage the church, manage yourself. If you manage yourself, you'll manage the church. Some of you don't know how to manage yourselves. Get someone to manage you. Really, if you can't manage yourself, pay someone to manage you. It's very important. Because I'm dead serious. Because you'll keep the right thing, the main thing, you'll get everything done. Number 4, if you wake me up on a Thursday, friends are very important. You need friends, for goodness sake. Friends you can hang out with. Friends you can let it hang out with. You need to hang. We have friends. We have good friends, strong friendships. We can speak to each other. We can tell each other. We can pray together, laugh together, speak about our children, speak about the church, speak about the country. We can get upset together. We can, yes. You know what those weekends mean. Okay, quickly the next one. Friday. Friday when you wake up at 2 in the morning. People matter. Oh, I can't. You all know me. People really matter. Now, what's on your heart? Who's on your heart? Who's on your heart? Are you on your heart? Wow, that's good. Are you on your heart? Is it all about you? Or are they on your heart? Is it all about them? Aaron went into the Holy of Holies with a breastplate with 12 stones and 2 shoulder pads with 6 stones each for all the names of the tribes of Israel. Because Aaron, as the priest, went into God's presence with the people on his heart and the people on his shoulders. Jesus is in the presence of God with you and me on his heart. And you know what? It's all about the people. Make the sacrifices, be inconvenienced, doesn't matter what's going on. And you know what? It's so easy. I mean this, we've heard it say, yeah, you know, we've got to go to the marginalized, the disenfranchised, the wara. We know what? We love people who are unsaved, who are messed up. But we don't like leaders who become messed up. We punish them. Stop it. Galatians, if any one of you who is spiritual finds a brother who falls into a sin, don't discipline him. Show me where this discipline thing comes from. Please, somebody send me a Bible study that's Bible-based. It's not about discipline. It's about restoration. And you know what? We must stop throwing people to the dogs. The dogs will eat them. People matter. Okay, I'm going to move on quickly. That's Saturday. Surround yourself with the right people. We've heard that. You need a big team. And 7, lastly, never, ever allow anyone to put you in their pocket. Be careful whose gifts you receive. Be careful whose holiday house you occupy. Be careful who wants to buy you a motor car. People who work with me have to declare every honorarium and every gift that they get. I want to know about it, and I declare everything that I get, because no one is putting me in their pocket. That's 7 days.
So good. Thank you so much, Donovan. So good. Yes. So good. Brilliant. We have time for one more question, and I'm going to ask Graham. Graham, if you could start all over again in ministry, I'm not waking you up in the night. You can sleep. But if you could start all over again in ministry, what would you do completely differently?
Just everything. I tell you what I think I would love to do. I would love myself, my team, and my church to be way, way better at relationships. I think Jesus sends us, actually, let's say over 10 years, he sends you enough people to reach your city. The problem is that after 10 years, let's say, for example, you've got 1,000 adults in your church. You've actually had 4,000 adults. 3,000 have come and gone through offense, upsets. And it's not always with you. Well, hopefully not. I just wish we were better at loving each other and pushing through the bad times. I think all the most important people in my life and in my church, in the churches that I'm leading, are all people that have pushed through. If only we could do it. I think we don't talk about relationships enough. I think we preach amazing sermons, And the people love the sermon, love the church. They don't know what to do when there's a problem. So they leave. So just say you're a 1,000-member church. You imagine if you still had 4,000, how more effective your church would be. If you've got 10,000, I'm willing to bet 20 to 30,000 have come through your church. I don't know what we can do about it, but I think, yes, that's what I would do. I would honestly,
So good.
I would just, because obviously I'm now, I'm not running a new church, but yes, I don't know what the answer is. I think today, I think we're getting worse. I think we're getting offended more easily. And that is what's stopping the church from reaching the world. Nothing else, I think. Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. The church has to be the most loving place in the world. And it reminds me of the verse that says, unbelievers will see the love we have for each other, and they will also be drawn to Christ. We appreciate you. Thank you for leaving a legacy.
Can I just say thanks to Paul and Marinette for organizing this. They're amazing. And for every speaker we've had, we have truly been blessed. There's not been one session that we've not really received. So thank you guys. All the hard work you put in.
Appreciate you, Graham.